Hello viewers, welcome to InBusiness. I'm your host Vikant Sahai. Well, now we are having one guest who is from the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, one of the oldest chambers in the country. It has just completed 113 years. It was established in 1908. So you can imagine the experience behind it. And we have our guest with us. He is the president of the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Ralph D'Souza. Mr. D'Souza, welcome to InBusiness.
Good evening, and thank you very much for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So let me begin with, can you just explain to us the structure of GCCI?
Yes, as you said, Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry is one of the oldest institutions in this country. And it was started by a few merchants in Panjim. Those days there was no much industry in Goa, so most of it was trade and commerce, and they started an association which is now transformed into the Chamber of Commerce. And when the industry grew, then industry also became a prominent part of the chamber. The Goa Chamber looks at almost every aspects of the industry and the economy. As a result of that, we have 15 subcommittees, each one with a chairman. And this chairman is chosen from the industry itself that he represents. So we have, besides that, we also have professionals. And these professionals and the members from the industry and a strong chairman, they form a formidable team. And these various subcommittees are the pillars on which the entire chamber rests. At the helm of the affairs is the managing committee, which comprises of the president, the two vice presidents, secretary treasurer as any other association, plus members. And in view of the continuity, because a tenure of a president is just 2 years, for better continuity of various issues which sometimes exceed 2 years, we have the vice president who fills in the chair of the president. Normally that is the trend. Of course, anybody can stand for election as a president and get elected, but that's the trend. This is to respect the continuity of the problem. So besides the business, we also have taken the responsibility to look at other areas. For example, education. We have a very strong committee comprising of educationists to help information of various policies that will help the government in order to raise the standard of the education.
So what is the vision of Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry as with respect to the industry in Goa?
With respect to the industry, the first thing is we have seen a hard time for last 2 years. The industry has taken a beating of its lifetime. Let's not mince word about this. So it is now resurrecting. Of course, there was some industry like the pharma who were doing quite well. They had to carry on because they were required in order to handle the virus that was going on. But the other industries had to suffer for various instances because of out-migration of the labor, because of the various lockdowns, non-availability of raw materials, non-availability of the markets because our markets are outside Goa. So we are reviving, and the industry, the chamber has to help the industry to go back on rails. This is one of the things that is of first and foremost attention. Then what we got to do, what the chamber is looking at, not looking at industry per se, but making sure that the industry prospers. At the end of the day, Goa is a welfare state. There are so many welfare schemes that have to be funded, and these schemes are funded with the revenue collected from the industry, the full support from the industry. So we are looking at the health of the industry, we are looking at the prosperity of the industry and how to put it in a good position. And I would say another thing that we have to look at is peace of mind for the people at the helms of the industries. If you have peace of mind, then you can run a business properly, you can go towards this, towards your goals and achieve whatever targets you have to set, you have set yourselves, and do all this with a smile on your face and a smile on the faces of others as well. And with this type of attitude, you can definitely prosper in a very, very positive way.
So, what are the major issues which you are dealing with day in and day out, and in the long term also? Because you said that there will be a continuity of the presidents, yes. Whosoever next takes over after 2 years or so. So that continuity is just because that you are taking a long term, issues to be solved. So what are the issues right now?
Yeah, we take long term issues as well as the short term issues. The issues that come to us are mostly the chamber handles the macro issues. Of course, some individuals have small problems. Sometimes we step in. It's more of an exception rather than a rule. But mostly the macro issues. One of the main issues that is in front of us today is the ease of doing business. Ease of doing business is extremely important in order to prosper. Today, Goa is not only a local economy, it's a part of the national economy, and our national economy is a part of the world international economy. So we have to be very competitive in every way. So one of the fundamentals here is the ease of doing business. To elaborate on what ease of doing business actually is and what we are looking at, first of all, there are multiple licenses to start an industry. So are all of them required? We are making a study. We are helping government to go in a direction that will be less time consuming for them and for us, so that we can focus on work rather than other things, like administrative things. Now, besides the number of licenses, the time taken to get these licenses and clearances. Then we have the tenure of all these licenses and all these NOCs and all that we have to.
But we have IPB for that, sir.
We have. Besides, that's the secondly.
Investment promotion.
Yeah, that is secondly. But at the moment, what is going on is all the licenses have 1 year. Most of them have 1 year tenure. It doesn't make any sense. So we are looking at a tenure of minimum 5 years in a license. If somebody goes out of the way or does something he shouldn't do, then of course there are checks and balances for that. The tenure is one. Then I'm not talking about the one window clearance right now. What I'm talking about, the requirements to get that license and clearance and the time that is taken. So every year, if you go and renew your licenses, it takes so long, and it keeps the entire government machinery busy renewing your licenses. And very often the license comes back to us just a month before we have to hand it over again for the other renewal. So these are the things that happen. So this is one of the main issues. Besides that, there are other issues that we are facing. So maybe sometime now, because of this pandemic, as I was talking, there are a lot of financial strains. Not all industries and industrialists have deep pockets. The small industries that we take care of, they find it very difficult. The traders, the small scale industry, many of them, whatever they earn, they take it to the family. And if they're shut or without any business, they're in trouble. Some small EMIs, small loans that they've taken, they cannot pay those EMIs. So of course, the government has intervened and banks have restructured the loans. But that is not solving a problem. That is postponing a problem. It's a great relief, no doubt. The industry, everything was shut. We had no income, so we were not able to pay the banks, EMIs. So instead of defaulting on those loans, we were given moratorium. So this has only postponed the liabilities. So now, in this season and next season, we have to do extremely well, because the burden of going to the banks is heavier than what we were facing before. But I suppose that's business, that's the game.
So business is picking up after pandemic, is it?
It is picking up. We are seeing a upward trend. There is a lot of positiveness also. Of course, there are still issues. For example, not all the labor is back. We are having a huge labor problem because Goa depends upon out-of-state labor. So unfortunately, what has happened is in the East Coast, there have been continuous storms, and we know the rain that we are getting is the offshoot of that. So most of our labor comes from that area. They are facing huge problems, with the houses, with the properties because of the storm. So many of them have not yet come back. But the industries are limping, and because of this, there is some, what do we call it, a new normal that has come into existence. It is the technology and the innovation that is driving the industries today to reach good levels. Because without that, we'll be lost, because things have changed completely.
So what is the immediate learning? Because if the migrant laborers are not coming to you, what is?
As I was saying, technology and innovation, that adoption of technology and innovation is the one thing that is really helping the industry. So what happens is, when we don't have the people, the manual labor that we require, we have to go in for automation, and that is happening. That is happening. We have learned another thing. Because of the lockdowns and all, there was work from home culture, and this has developed. So the industry is, of course, many of the people have called back because factories are not, you have to come there and do the work on the workflows itself. But in some of the other areas, especially where commerce is concerned, still the professionals and all, they are still going in for that work from home type of.
At this note, we'll take a short break and we'll be back after the break and continue talking to Mr. Ralph D'Souza. Thank you very much. Please stay with us, viewers. Welcome back, viewers, to InBusiness. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host, Vikant Sahai. We continue talking to the president of the GCCI, Mr. Ralph D'Souza. Mr. D'Souza, as we talked in the earlier part of this program about what is the functioning, what are the issues. Now tell me, you have how many members, first of all, in GCCI, and how are these members being benefited by your actions?
We have over 500 members for the chamber, and many of these members own more than one establishments, 2 and 3 establishments. But if you go by the establishment, there are about 1,500 approximately member establishments that chamber looks after.
So how do they benefit if your action on certain issues, certain industrial issues are taken up? How are they benefited?
As I said earlier, we have various committees, including taxation, IRHR, we have got industries, we have got agriculture, we've got various 15 subcommittees. And the members of these committees, they come with any issues that that particular sector they represent, come up with. And this is presented to the secretariat. The chamber has a very strong secretariat of a director general, director, and other researchers as well. So, and it filters up to the managing committee. Managing committee meets every month. So, how the benefits, further it comes to the managing committee, and the president as well as his representatives are members of many government boards, maybe town and country planning or industrial development corporation or other industries, almost every departmental or various departments also. So we deal with the members' question, we take them to the board, at that time to the board members, and we just talk to them. If it is a very important topic that is affecting a large scale to the various, the entire sector of the industry, then it even comes as an agenda on the board and it is discussed and it is taken care of. The other part, how we can help our members and how we help members is, we have tie-ups with other chambers as well. So Goa, being a smaller state, it does require markets outside Goa. So creating synergies between members of other chambers and our members, it helps a lot to develop the business. We have got, as the chambers, the most reputed organization of the state. It receives constant visits from embassies, from consulates and trade missions. This year itself, from July to now, 6 different trade missions and consulate representatives have come and visited the chamber. And we've had synergies between our members and the visiting missions. There are a lot of business opportunities that are available and which are presented to our members. And our members also have a chance of showcasing their products. So if a partnership can come up from this particular synergy, it happens. There are other times also when our members deal with those countries and they have some problems which are brought up during this meeting, and numbers are exchanged and one-on-one solutions arrive even after we have finished the meetings. Besides the board and these opportunities that we have, we always work with the government as far as the policy is concerned. Even in case of budgets, we present the pre-budget memorandums.
How responsive is the government when you do?
In very often we do. If you are cohesive enough, if you have a good sort of a policy that's coming up, or even a part of that policy, very often we've been able to address this and convince the government to make a part of the agenda.
Like for example?
Like for example, there were some problems that we were facing in land allocations in the Industrial Development Corporation. Now that is falling into place because there's a first time a managing director who is quite very proactive, and he's an IAS officer, the gentleman, and now they work very closely with the Investment Promotion Board. So what is to happen, the land, some of the land was belonging to the Industrial Development Corporation and others were allocation of the Investment Promotion Board. Very often the parcels of land, the location, the size are not changed, vary according to the demand. So they sit together today, even during the meeting of the Investment Promotion Board, and they see who can help, and accordingly the thing is taken care of.
So you think there is ease of allotment of lands in Goa right now?
Well, we have made a good beginning. We have a long way to go, because as far as see, there are a lot of things that are happening today. Online applications, maybe one of the good things that happened today is your mutation and partition, which is to take years and piles just to mount from the floor up to the ceiling. But now, once you go to the office of the sub-register to register your deed, your partition and your mutation is taken care of.
So why do you have to go to office if it's online then?
No. When at the time of registering your deed, that is manual. It's a document that you have to hand over and register. Otherwise, applications and everything, many of the applications today are online, and that is helping. But we have made a good beginning, but we have got a long way to go. And the chamber is working with the government to expedite things, because we want to take this for the benefit of the industry and as well as the administration, something that the technology is handling.
Mr. D'Souza, tell me, as a chamber president, what and how can you help Goa's industrial scenario or ecosystem, if I may call it?
Yes, there are, the industry also has a responsibility which we are aware of and which are happy about it. In the sense, as I said in the beginning, Goa is a welfare state. Education is free. Your medical is free. Even a super specialization, heart stents and everything, dialysis is free. And we've got good medical setup in comparison to the other country. Then we have the benefit, the pensions for the old age, the widows. So a lot of money, revenues are required to fund these schemes. And these come from the taxes from various industries that are running here. That's a main source. So,
but taxes are GST, right?
Yeah, GST, a part of it comes back. There are other local taxes also. If you not even VAT, if you go even at the panchayat level, municipal level, there are huge taxes. There are huge amount of collections that they make also, and some of it is shared with the state government, and that helps in order to fund these welfare schemes. So we know that this is a type of this is the responsibility of the industry that is doing. So the chamber, first of all, want to make the business pleasurable by solving various issues, as supporting the ease of doing business, expediting that. I'll give you one example. Today, if you see the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Amanda Ardern, she is the most sought after Prime Minister in the world because she has got one mission. She wants to give peace of mind to her citizens. She wants to create a stress-free population, citizens of New Zealand. If there are any impediments, maybe as far as the law is concerned, government actions are concerned, about whatever is happening, they try and eradicate that. So whatever you are doing with happiness and with the peace of mind.
So what are you doing for?
So what we are trying to do, we are hoping that the chamber is trying to bring this peace in the minds of all the investors, of the industrialists, of the business communities, so they can peacefully earn a lot of money, pay their revenue, so that whoever beneficiaries are, they'll peacefully enjoy that. And how we do this? By using technology, no interface, do it quickly, and without running around, without wasting much time. Because the present system is changing. Why it is changing? Because to get the clearances and licenses will take you years. And we have to compete with not only other world, but other places. The investment that is coming to Goa, those investors have to be facilitated in order to start the industry, because there are others like Gujarat and even today UP. They come, your Andhra Pradesh. They invite the industrialists, and licenses and everything is taken care of in a matter of few days. And they have been given all the facility to start the business. So the chamber is all set to assist the government to have this type of formula in Goa.
On this note, we have to end this program because we are running really short of our time. It was a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Raul D'Souza, the President of the GCCI.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers, for staying with us and watching this program. I'm your host, Vikant Sahai, signing off.